Do you worry about the team's focus this week, holiday week, going into a divisional matchup? Is that something you have to kind of police?
I'd hope not. I hope not. It's these guys know. I think they understand as much as anything with a division game. This is a team that if you just watch the tape, which doesn't lie typically, this is not a team that's thinks or playing like they're 1-10. I mean, that's the reality. And so they have enough game records and players that can impact the game in all three phases that we cannot feel. There's just no room for that. And so I hope and believe that we are mature enough and honest enough with ourselves and with each other that this is a team that is going to be hungry for a win. There's a lot of reasons, and it's the NFL, right? Like there's a lot of pride in what we do, and for us as well, like this is another great opportunity and test to go again on the road in division. As you head into late November, early December, these are football games that we need to win.
And Travis Etienne, our Rooney Sportsmanship Award nominee. What have you seen from Travis this year?
Yeah, he'll also be nominated as a game captain as well this week. So TJ, since I think I've said this a few times, like since we got here, has really done nothing but try to be the best version of himself. I think he's really dominated his role in terms of like wanting to improve in the areas that we talked about wanting to improve, consistently putting good things on tape from his habits in practice, from his preparation during the week with Chad, with his preparation on his body and his treatment. Just have been so pleased with TJ's consistency throughout this time with him. And then the playmaking, right? Like you can't argue guys that go out and make people miss and get hard yards and have been a huge reason why we've had the success that we've had this season.
He's got 3 rookies in his room, counting Jaquindon. What's his leadership kind of been like for those guys? How have you kind of seen it rub off on them?
Yeah, I mean, TJ was a guy that got, numerous votes for captain when we did the voting. And I think that obviously past history always helps from a team standpoint, right? Like a lot of the guys that have been here, but when you have 3 rooks in the room that, you're consistently trying to elevate and raise the standards in the room, and not just that room, but all rooms. And Chad obviously has tried to do that and lead that, but you don't do those things without a guy who's setting the tone, who's able to follow and push that message and try to lead that room. So in his own way, he's not the most vocal guy out there, rah, that's not him. But he's done it by the way that he walks through, the way that he meets, the way that he practices, has all been within a high standard. And I've appreciated that.
Footwork stuff you guys did with Trevor at the beginning or in the spring or whatever, how's that held up to this point?
I think there's a lot of good examples of his footwork looking, more and more what we're trying to get to. And it was a great example of the touchdown to Parker last week where it was play action, stepped up in the pocket, like talked about that opposite pec movement, one hitch throw. There was numerous others where you just see the more and more we can continue to have Trev be grounded and get all of his cleats in the ground to generate as much power and accuracy as possible. Typically, we talk about that boxer mentality to where you're always in a position to be able to throw a punch, always in a position to be able to throw the ball. When you get toesy as a quarterback, or really any player for that matter, when you're on your toes or your momentum is going up and down, well, then it has to come back to this position to throw. So we're constantly working on that, and I think that from a footwork standpoint, I've been pleased with him.
is averaging over 30 points since the bye week. Is that just kind of everything starting to find a groove a little bit?
I mean, I think that there's probably a little bit more. I mean, if you look at the negative plays, I think that that's maybe an area in which we've made some growth and some strides with the penalties, right? Like the penalties of being in second and XL. So often you could look at maybe you could call it pre-buy in a lot of ways, where you're in second and 15, second and 20, second and 12, second and 13. I mean, those are hard downs, hard drives to overcome when you have negatives on a drive. So I think that's one area of improvement we've made. And then, just the consistent execution, right? Like you have 70 plays in a game. You're looking for obviously like 80+% execution, right? Like you're not always going to win. You're not always going to make the one-on-one play, right? That's football. But from an execution, mental error, assignment, alignment, execution, I think that has improved over the last X amount of weeks.
The concern level with Trayvon's knee there, hasn't practiced in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's just day to day for us. I mean, we really it's at this point, pain. There's things that we can control and there's things you can't, and this is one of those that we can't really control. It's an injury that we have to deal with, and hopefully we get him back as soon as possible.
A little off subject, but John Summerall, you guys were together in Kentucky in 21. What kind of job did he do there?
Oh, man.
What kind of a coach is he?
He's an absolute stud. I bought his house in Kentucky and then didn't ever live in it. Went to the Rams after that. So Summy and I are very close. I've got a ton of respect for John Summerall as a man, as a person, as a coach. He can connect with all walks of life. There's not many better recruiters I've been around at all positions, not just on defense, but the entirety of it. And I know his teams play their tails off. That's something that you've just continued to see. Our linebackers at Kentucky that he coached, I mean, they were at his house all the time. He had the players at his house all the time. There was a natural connection that he had with the players and the people in the building that you could just see that he has. He's a football coach. Like if you talk about like a ball coach, I mean, that's John Summerall.
Looks like he's about ready to go back into the game. Just in terms of what he can bring to the table, how much excitement do you guys have?
Yeah, it's great to see him back out on the practice field as much as possible, and I think Jordan's done a great job of helping those other guys as much as possible without being out on the grass on Sundays. As much as you can get him out there is you need, he's just the confidence, the swagger, the communication, the way he sees the game. That always helps when you got a guy out there. You have captains not out on the grass. It's always hard. So, and a playmaker, right? He's made some critical plays for us this season. Been very pleased, as I've mentioned, with Jarian, with Braz, with those guys, that have stepped up and had to play a little bit more because of J. Lou being out. So you feel confident in those guys for sure, but it's always nice to have that depth back.
Kobe Parker and Tim Patrick have kind of given you some consistency at wide receiver over the last couple of weeks, maybe getting BT back.
Yep.
Do you slow play him back into the lineup to not disrupt that, or do you just thrust him back in?
Yeah, I mean, I think you saw, I don't know if you guys watched practice yesterday a little bit. He brought some juice to practice yesterday in a big way in terms of being able to get that connection, going again. I mean, that's something that we're going to need down this stretch. And when you have somebody that, he's feeling better, he's getting healthier, I mean, that's so big for our offense to be able to attack people now, at all three levels. So, we'll see what the rep count comes out to be, because you do still have to monitor and make sure that, when you have a guy coming off of a high ankle sprain that plays a position that involves running and cutting and doing all those things, you want to make sure you're similar to Brenton, I think you'd say last week, where you're just trying to make sure that, hey, we want to get him going. We need to get him going because it'll help our team and our offense. just don't want to make sure you're putting them in any position that it could end up hurting it.
You're going down the stretch like this and you're getting a guy like BT back, you're getting Jordan Lewis back, it almost looks like you're starting to get a little bit healthier in the stretch run. Is that good? I mean,
There's a few good, it's like 2 steps forward, one, and down at this time, it's just the way it goes, right, guys? Like at the end of the season, you're just, nobody's going to feel great. But the guys, to agree to your point, the guys that are coming back from not playing, you would think that they'd be able to provide a little bit of a spark just in terms of the way they feel and the way that they can maybe go out and provide, whether it's energy, whether it's just, bouncing around out there and playmaking. That is extremely important down the stretch and as we head into December football. So, but you're in the rest of the roster and the guys that have been playing, you're not feeling like you did in week 2 or 3 by any means.
You've had a lot of guys, both sides of the ball, week 1 starters, have to step in and play a lot of snaps this year. What's that kind of taught you just about your depth and about the guys that you have in the locker room?
Yeah, I think it speaks to, I think we did a nice job in the off season at identifying some role players, if you will, and guys that we saw, obviously the physical football traits, but also the personal intangibles that you were looking for, whether it was in pro free agency, whether it was in the draft or post-draft in, the college free agency world. So those guys have played meaningful snaps for us, whether it's through special teams, offense, defense, have all been contributors. And as you go throughout this stretch, the more guys that can help you win, the better, right? I mean, you only have 11 out there every play, but when you've got 13, 14, 15 in terms of guys that have been able to play and impact all 3 phases, that's going to help us tremendously, hopefully, down the stretch. And, you're not thrusting them into roles this late in the season, and they're like, whoa, shoot, this is an NFL game. This is a critical gotta-have-it moment on 3rd down or in the red zone or in 2-minute or 4-minute late in the season when, man, these games obviously really, really matter in terms of, playoffs and all the implications and just for us as a team getting better each week. I think it helps that just the nerves and go in and play with a quieted mind.
Do you ever talk to the team about the big picture, or do you just
no? Yeah, we haven't talked to any big picture at all. I honestly could not tell you at all where we stand in terms of where we are, what implications that every game has. Like, I swear to you, I have no idea. So I think it's best to keep it that way for all of us and really just take it one day at a time, one game at a time, because we all know how volatile this league is, and when you're just steady, focused on improvement, and you're focused on yourselves, knowing, okay, this is the team that we're playing. This is the players that we have to be aware of. This is their offensive, defensive, and special team structures, but it's us. It's us attacking them. It's our process and our operation that truly matters. And so the more we can keep the main thing, the better.
Coach, thank you so
Great.
much.